Hey, welcome to this video. Today we will be working on data analysis project. In order to complete this project, we will have two tasks. So let's take a look at our first task. First, we will need to identify the number of employees within each department that share the same birth month. So basically from this first line, we can see that we will need to group our values by this department. So we will need to find that column. Okay, let's proceed to next line. This output should include department, birth month, and the number of employees from that department. Okay, perfect. So if we check this third line, basically this means if we don't have any values for that department for specific month, then we will present 0 employees. Okay, let's check how can we do that. First, let's check our data. If I run this code, I will be able to see my table here. So we have first name, last name, profession, employee ID, birthday, and birth month. So first we need to find this department column. Basically, it will be this profession, as you can see. We have doctors, teachers, managers, and so on. So we will need to use that column. Also, if we check this second line, we will be able to see that we need birth month. It's great that we have that column in our table. So what we need to do now? We need to group our data by department and to present it for each of these months that we have. So let's see how can we do that. Let me first select only columns that I will need. First is profession. And then I will need birth month. Okay, we need only those two columns to complete this task. First, I will use group by function to group those values here in this profession column. And after that, I will need to see number of employees for each month that we have. So we will create one column for each of these months that we have. Let's see how can we do that. First, I'm going to be using count function, count, and then inside of this count, I will need to count each specific month. So let's first count this first month. I'm going to use case when birth month equals 1. So let me first explain why I'm using quotes here. Basically, as you can see, this birth month column is text value. So because of that, I'm going to be using quotes. So if this condition is met, then we will add 1. If not, it will be 0. Okay, perfect. Let's add and basically that's it. Let's also provide column name for this. Let's provide month 1. Excellent. I'm going to do the same for all other months. Let me copy this one. Excellent. Now we have all these columns completed. Now we need to group those values by department. So let's use group by, and our column is actually profession. And here we can provide name department. Excellent. If I execute this code, basically we will be able to see each department, each month, and also number of employees within each department that were born in specific month. For example, in this third month, we have 3 employees that are working in this doctor department. Excellent. With this, we completed this first task. So what is our next task? Next, we will need to create Power BI report from this data that we have. First, we will need to connect Postgres to Power BI. Then we will use this original table. And then from that, we will be creating visuals and also including them in our report. Okay, let's see how can we do that. Let's open Power BI. Now let's proceed to get data. Let's click on more. Let's click on this search bar and let's type Postgres. So let's select this first option, PostgreSQL database. Let's click on connect. And now we will need to provide few values. First is server. Let's check our server. Let's go back to Postgres. Let's go to this PostgreSQL option. Right click, properties. Let's click on connection. And now first for server, we will provide this host name. Let's go back to Power BI. this one, then provide 2 dots. Let's go back to Postgres and let's copy port. Excellent. Now we need to provide name of our database. Let's go back to Postgres. Let's check database name. Basically, public is our schema. We need to provide database name. It's Postgres. Let's click on Power BI and let's type Postgres. Excellent. Let's click on OK. And now we have our data. If we select our data source, we will be able to see our columns and values that we have. Let's click on load. And perfect, we have our data successfully imported. Now let's create some simple reports for this data set. So let's use, for example, this stacked column chart. Let's click on that one. Excellent. And now we need to provide values for this one. Okay, let's use, for example, profession. And let's use employee ID. Okay, let's use count. Perfect. Now what we can see here? Basically we can see number of employees for each department. Let's insert another chart. Let's use, for example, tree map. Let's click on that one. And now we can use birth month. And let's use employee ID, for example. And what we can see from this visual? Basically we can see that we have 14 employees who were born in this 8th month. Also, if we check this 5th month, we have 11 employees. In this month is the same. And if we check, for example, this one, we have only 7 employees. Let me proceed to next chart. Let's click on this line chart, but not instead of that one. I'm going to create a new. Excellent. And now I'm going to provide birthday here. And here I'm going to provide employee ID. Now we can see that for each day, we have only one employee. But now let me try to display how many employees we have for each week, for example. To do that, I'm going to need to go to this data view. And for this birthday column, if you go to column tools, we will be able to see that this is text value. Instead of text, I would like to present date here. Click on yes. Perfect. And now let's go to our chart. And let's remove this birthday and add it again. And now, as you can see, we have few subcategories: year, quarter, month, and day. Let's see for quarter, for example, how many employees we have. Let's exclude year. And as you can see, we have 23 in first, 22 in second, 32 in third, and 22 in fourth quarter. Excellent. Let me also copy this one. I'm gonna place it here below. And now, instead of quarter, let me remove that. I'm gonna add it one more time. Instead of quarter, let's use year this time. And now we are able to see number of employees for each specific year. For example, if we check this year, we have 5 employees who were born in that year. Also, if we check this one, it's also the same. And also for this year. Excellent. Now let's add title to this report. Let's go to insert, text box, and let's type employee analysis. Also, I can change titles for each of these charts. So let's click on this first one. Let's go to this format your visual, general, title. And instead of this one, I can provide excellent. Now we can see number of employees for each department. You can do the same for other visuals, but with this we will conclude this project. Thank you for watching.